Smart people don't shout louder, they raise their standards higher. Let's clear one thing up. Sigma females aren't emotional messes trying to prove something. They stay calm, quiet, and sharp. When things get messy, they don't panic or join the chaos. They think much deeper and act much wiser. That's how they win without even trying. Welcome to time-tested advice, where ancient philosophy meets the modern world. I'm your host, Alfred. Let's get started. People often think their silence means weakness. They assume if she doesn't fight back, she's scared. But the truth is, Sigma females are watching carefully, learning, and getting ready. They don't react on impulse, they're already thinking 10 steps ahead. While others throw insults, she builds herself up. While others seek attention, she disappears and improves. And while everyone looks at the loudest person, she's quietly making moves nobody expects. It's not just about being smart. It's about controlling emotions, having strong self-respect, and refusing to play small games. Sigma females don't try to ruin their enemies. They let the enemies ruin themselves. So, if you are a Sigma female or becoming one, remember this. Your silence is powerful, your patience is deadly, and your growth is the final checkmate they never saw coming. They play dirty, but you play smart. That's why they lose before the game even begins. If this message speaks to something inside you, if it reminds you of who you are deep down, click subscribe and tap the bell. This space is for people like you, ready to grow, heal, and stand strong. She lets them believe they're winning. Most people can't help themselves. When they think they're ahead, they brag, talk too much, and get careless. That's exactly when Sigma females wait. They don't jump into drama, chase answers, or try to prove they're right. Instead, they quietly watch, remember every detail, and let others feel in control. Sigma females play the long game. They don't announce their moves. When someone feels like they're winning, it feeds their ego. That ego blinds them, so Sigma females don't bother stopping them. They let them run wild, thinking they're smart. But really, she's already 3 steps ahead, just staying quiet about it. While others waste time on small fights, she protects her energy and plans her exit. Not just any exit, a quiet, sharp one that leaves no trace. She lets people show who they really are. No fights, no begging, no explanations. She lets them think they have the upper hand, and just when they feel safe, they find out she's already gone. That's the surprise no one expects. People confuse her silence for weakness, but silence is her strongest weapon. It gives others room to reveal themselves. And when she sees enough, she acts, not with anger, but with clear purpose. By the time they realize it, it's too late. The harm they wanted to cause has bounced back on them. Sigma females know something many don't. You don't have to fight dirty to win. You just need patience, self-control, and the strength to walk away without looking back. Letting someone think they're winning is not giving up. It's smart strategy. And when the truth hits, it hits hard. She never stoops to their level. She raises the game. When people throw shade, lie, or try to break someone down, most people fight back, argue, or expose them. But not Sigma females. They don't waste time getting dirty with drama seekers. While others get loud and messy, she stays focused and productive. She turns disrespect into motivation and setbacks into growth. People expect her to react, break down, or get stuck in drama. But instead of fighting, she builds. Instead of complaining, she grows. She knows silence followed by success is the loudest answer. When people push her, she doesn't push back. She rises so high she can't be touched. This isn't about pride, it's about self-respect. Sigma females understand giving toxic people attention is like feeding a fire, so they don't give them anything. No reactions, no explanations, no breakdowns. She just quietly works on herself until her results shout louder than their words ever could. And the best part? Those who tried to break her end up watching her shine. That's the kind of revenge that hurts most, not because it's cruel, but because it's calm, graceful, and undeniable. She's not bothered by chaos, she's driven by progress. Every insult, betrayal, and fake smile reminds her to stay focused on what truly matters. While others throw mud, she builds something strong they can't touch. She doesn't just rise above nonsense, she changes the rules. That's what makes her rare, powerful, and unforgettable. She doesn't play dirty, she plays smart. And that's why she always wins in the end. She uses their obsession as a tool. Sigma females have a quiet brilliance. They know when people watch, study, or copy them. But instead of feeling threatened, they let it happen because they know this. Obsession makes people predictable. They watch her not to learn, but to find weaknesses, copy her, or compete. What they don't see is this. Every move they copy is already old. The moment they catch on, she's moved on. Sigma females don't follow trends or need approval. They make their own path. So when others copy them, they chase a version of her that's gone. She becomes impossible to catch because she's always growing, and that's the trap. While her enemies think they're close to understanding her, they're stuck in a loop of copying. They spend so much time trying to be her, they forget who they are. Meanwhile, she uses that attention not for ego, but as a guide. She watches how far they'll go and uses that to know where to step carefully. While they focus on her every move, she quietly plans her next chapter. Her weapon isn't fighting, it's evolving. By letting them think they know her, she keeps them busy chasing shadows. When she makes her real move, they're left behind, holding on to a version of her that doesn't matter anymore. That's how Sigma females win, not by fighting harder, but by staying too far ahead to catch. She sees the game before it begins. Sigma females don't just react, they predict. While most deal with what's right in front of them, she reads patterns, watches behavior, and plans outcomes before anyone even knows a game started. She doesn't play quick, shallow games. She plays deep, thoughtful ones where every move counts for the long run. People think they surprise her by lying, cheating, or switching sides. But she saw it coming, not because she's suspicious, but because she pays attention. She hears the tone, spots mistakes, and sees when actions don't match words. By the time they move, she already knows the whole plan. Sigma females don't just think differently, they see differently. They sense intentions, not just words. They feel tension before it explodes. And most of all, they never act on impulse. Every step is on purpose. What looks like a sudden reaction is usually a choice made long ago. That's why people trying to trick her almost always fail. Not because she's loud or mean, but because she's ready. The game they think they control. She lets it happen, knowing exactly when to turn it around. She's not here for small wins. She wants checkmate. And by the time they realize it wasn't random, but planned, she's already on to the next quiet, precise move. That kind of mental strength can't be taught. It's earned through experience, calm, and courage. Sigma females don't just survive the game, they master it. She walks alone, but always with purpose. People often think a woman walking alone must be lost, lonely, or unsure. But Sigma females show that walking alone can be the strongest, most deliberate choice. While others gather, gossip, and feed fears, she moves quietly with focus and a plan only she understands. She's not interested in groups, approval, or attention. She doesn't need others to feel worthy. This independence confuses people. It makes them uncomfortable because they rely on each other to feel strong. But she doesn't. Her strength comes from inside. While they gather in circles of doubt, she walks straight toward her goals. Every step has thought, vision, and purpose. She's not wandering, she's working, watching, learning, and building something bigger than they see. And what really scares them? She doesn't hesitate. She doesn't ask for help. She doesn't explain where she's headed or why. They don't understand how she does so much with so little said and still moves faster than the whole group. Her silence isn't weakness, it's protection. Her being alone isn't punishment, it's power. She's not afraid of being alone because that's where she finds clarity, recharges, and becomes unstoppable. The truth is, she was never part of their game. She was building something real. And when they finally see what she was doing, she's already too far ahead to catch. That's the Sigma female way. Walking alone, but always with direction. And that scares those who need a crowd to feel seen. She beat their ego with emotional control. Most expect a reaction when they mess with someone. They want drama, outbursts, or at least an answer. But the Sigma female gives them nothing. No tears, no begging, no words, just silence. And that silence hits harder than any shout. She knows something many don't. Controlling your emotions is power. Not every person deserves a reply. Not every problem needs closure. Sometimes, walking away without a word is the strongest message. That's what made them panic. They expected her to break down. They thought she'd chase answers or prove they had control. But she stayed steady. She didn't give them satisfaction. She stayed calm and flipped the whole situation. Ego-driven people need attention and importance. When Sigma females don't give that, it leaves them confused and off balance. How could she stay so calm when they thought they trapped her? How could she not react when they tried every trick? The answer is simple. She has nothing to prove. She values peace more than being understood. She knows her worth and doesn't need others to confirm it. That emotional control is rare and scary because someone who can't be shaken can't be controlled. She didn't just win the fight, she made it clear there was no fight from the start. They tried to play games, but she played a different game, one needing patience, clarity, and self-control. In the end, while they fed their egos, she walked away with her dignity, peace, and power all intact. She wasn't chasing attention, she was chasing peace. While others were busy arguing, trying to prove themselves right, or getting the last word, she was focused on something much deeper. People assumed she wanted recognition, applause, or even fear. But what she truly wanted was calm. Peace that didn't rely on outside approval or support. She stayed true to herself, even when others tried to pull her into mess and drama. That's what made her different, untouchable. When people threw negativity at her games, lies, emotional tricks, she didn't fall apart. She didn't argue back or put on a show. Instead, she stayed calm. She pulled away. She healed quietly while everyone else was still trying to get a reaction. For her, winning wasn't about getting praise. It was about not letting the chaos affect her. She didn't need loud arguments or emotional scenes to prove anything. She knew people often get loud when they're unsure of themselves. So she stayed out of the noise. And when they noticed she was no longer reacting, no longer defending herself or explaining anything, they started to feel uneasy. Because when she found peace, they lost control. She rose above their games, and that shook them. She showed everyone watching a powerful truth. Peace is the real goal. Not applause, not revenge, not proving people wrong, just peace. And when she reached it, the people who once hurt her didn't matter anymore. She moved on with no drama, and that's why she became unforgettable. She let them waste energy on games she never played. They tried everything: manipulation, fake kindness, passive aggression, silent treatment, and shady comments. They were hoping to pull her into their chaos. They wanted her to react, to give them control, but she never picked up the bait. She saw what they were doing and simply chose not to join. That caught them off guard. They thought ignoring her would hurt her. They thought provoking her would make her snap. But she didn't respond. Instead, she stayed quiet, watched, and let their actions speak for themselves. She understood what most people don't. Not every fight is worth joining. Sometimes silence wins. While they were burning up energy trying to get under her skin, she was saving hers. She didn't try to fix the lies or outdo their drama. She just moved smarter, with purpose and clear thinking. While they were busy trying to confuse her, she was building herself stronger and protecting her peace. By the time they noticed she wasn't playing along, they were already drained, mentally and emotionally. Her real strength didn't come from what she did. It came from what she refused to give energy to. She didn't compete where it didn't matter. She didn't engage where there was nothing to gain. And nothing scares manipulative people more than someone who sees through them and doesn't flinch. She didn't win by overpowering them. She won by not letting them get to her. And in the end, they were left tired, confused, and powerless. She, calm, focused, and free. She didn't get revenge. She evolved. They thought they broke her. They mistook her silence for defeat and her distance for giving up. But she wasn't stuck. She wasn't plotting revenge or drowning in anger. She was growing, quietly. She was healing, learning, and becoming stronger than ever. She doesn't believe in getting even. She doesn't waste time trying to hurt people who hurt her. That's not her path. She's too busy becoming a better version of herself. So while they were waiting for her to lash out, she was already moving forward, processing the pain, understanding the lessons, and letting go of the past. She knew that real power isn't about proving people wrong. It's about becoming someone they can't reach anymore. What they saw as weakness was really transformation. She didn't need to scream or explain. She simply disappeared into her own world and came back stronger, wiser, and more untouchable than ever. The person they used to mess with was gone. They used to count on her kindness, her emotions, her urge to explain. But that version of her, she's not around anymore. She didn't return for revenge. Her growth was enough. Her evolution was the answer. Because when a Sigma female rises from pain, she doesn't return for claps. She comes back with purpose. And this time, no one can reach her. She didn't need to expose them. Their actions did. She never pointed fingers or made noise. She didn't try to prove who was fake or force people to see the truth. She knew something powerful. The truth always shows itself. She stayed quiet, watched, and waited. She didn't have to chase justice. She trusted that people eventually show their true colors. They thought their charm would protect them. They thought their lies and tricks would stay hidden. But patterns never lie. And over time, those patterns started showing. While they were trying to control how people saw her, she stayed focused on who she really was. Eventually, the mask slipped, not because she exposed them, but because they couldn't keep it on. That's what made her dangerous in the best way. She didn't destroy reputations. She just refused to protect the fake ones. She didn't need to say anything. Their own actions were louder than words. She let them wear themselves out in a game she refused to join. They tried everything: emotional tricks, silence, fake concern, small jabs. They wanted her to play along, to give them control through drama. But she stayed out of it. That's what shocked them. They thought if they ignored her, it would hurt. If they pushed her, she'd react. But she stayed calm, didn't take the bait, and simply watched. She knew that silence was more powerful than any fight. While they used up energy trying to get her attention, she was saving hers. She didn't bother correcting lies or matching their behavior. She kept her focus, stayed grounded, and chose logic over emotion. And by the time they realized she wasn't even in the game, they were already exhausted. Her real strength? It wasn't in doing more, it was in doing less. She only invests where there's value. She only shows up where there's growth. While they ran in circles, she kept moving forward, calm, clear, and strong. And that's what terrifies manipulative people. Someone who sees through the games and doesn't even blink. She didn't beat them by fighting. She won by never letting them affect her. In the end, they were drained and lost, and she was still standing, peaceful and untouched. She trusted patterns, not promises. Most people get pulled in by words, sweet talk, apologies, and big promises that sound perfect in the moment. But the Sigma female knows better. She doesn't fall for speeches. She watches for patterns. She knows that real truth is always in what people do, not what they say. So while others get fooled by empty words and second chances, she takes her time. She listens with her eyes. She pays attention to how someone shows up when no one's watching. She's not bitter, just wise. She's seen enough to know that someone who truly values you will never need to be reminded of how to treat you. So she doesn't waste time arguing, begging, or hoping they'll change. She sees the cycle, and when the pattern repeats, she quietly walks away. That's the part people don't expect. They think they can talk their way back in, explain their behavior, or blame the moment. But she's not interested in the story anymore. She's focused on the facts. And once she sees a pattern that doesn't match her peace, she chooses to break the cycle, not stay in it. That's how she protects herself. Not by fighting back, but by paying attention, connecting the dots, and walking away before the damage goes deeper. She didn't fear endings, she honored them. Most people are scared to let go. They hold on to friendships, jobs, relationships, even when they're no longer healthy, because they're afraid of starting over. But not the Sigma female. She understands that some things are meant to end, and that ending something doesn't mean failure. It means growth. She doesn't force things to work. She doesn't hold on to what drains her just to look loyal. If it costs her peace, if it stunts her growth, she knows it's time to release it. And the way she lets go is powerful. No drama, no hard feelings, no looking back. Just quiet acceptance that this chapter has served its purpose. She doesn't wait for people to hurt her 5 times to finally believe them. She doesn't fear the unknown. She trusts that walking away will make space for better things. That's why people say she moves differently. While others are stuck in loops, she's making room for peace, for clarity, for something real. She's not running away, she's moving forward. And that mindset, that courage to say, "This no longer fits who I am," is what makes her so strong. She doesn't just survive endings, she rises through them, gracefully, wisely, and always one step closer to her higher self. Real power doesn't shout, it moves in silence. When people play dirty, it's usually because they're lost inside. They try to gain control with lies, tricks, and chaos. But Sigma females, they don't operate like that. They don't react to mess. They don't get loud to prove a point. They grow. They protect their peace. They let actions, not emotions, lead the way. What made her truly unstoppable wasn't dramatic exits or loud revenge. It was how quietly she moved on, how calmly she outgrew what was meant to break her, how wisely she turned pain into power. That's what no one saw coming, and that's what made the biggest impact. So to every Sigma female listening, you're not cold, you're clear, you're not detached, you're disciplined. You don't need to match their behavior to prove your strength. You already have it. You were never made to fight for a seat at someone else's table. You were meant to build your own. And those who tried to bring you down, they'll only be able to watch from far away. Not because you pushed them away with hate, but because you outgrew them. Let them keep playing games. Let them chase attention. You just keep growing, building, and becoming. Because when a Sigma female plays the long game, she always wins, quietly, wisely, and in a way no one expects, but everyone remembers. If these words touched your heart, comment below. I am smarter than your games. Thanks for watching till the end. Your support truly means the world to me. Together we will forge a path of nothing but peace and happiness. This has been your host, Alfred. I'll see you in the next one. Same time tomorrow. Until next time.